Alright fam, so today I'm finally bringing you my December wrap-up. So I read 6 books in December, and 2 I own, and the rest were library books, so that's why there's only 2 books in the thumbnail. I didn't want to hold up 6 books that weren't the books that I read, because then you'd be like, oh, they own the books. And then you'd come here, and then I just have pictures for those books, so you see my point? First, this was all part of the Queer Lit Readathon. Honestly, it took me forever to read the last book on my TBR for the Queer Lit Readathon, and so I didn't read any other books in December besides those books. But I did complete my TBR eventually, and the first book was Tarnished Are the Stars by Rosie Thor. It's about a girl who has a mechanical heart, and it's about a society where mechanical hearts and other technology like it are banned because that is what killed the first Earth. They're on a second Earth, and so they're like, no, technology is bad. And then, so there's that. There's 2 other perspectives, because this is not just a 1 perspective book, it's a 3 perspective book, which I actually really enjoyed. And it's all written in first person. So each perspective is written in first person. Remember how I don't even remember what video it was, but I was like, are there books with multiple perspectives written in first person? Yes, this book is one of them. So anyway, that's one of the perspectives. The second one is an Arrow Ace Boy that I would die for. I don't want to tell you too much more because it would be kind of spoilery. And then the third one is kind of a femme fatale type character, and I also don't want to tell you any more about her because it would be kind of spoilery. So there you go. It's really good. I loved it. It's definitely in my top 10 of books in 2019. Maybe I'll make that video, maybe I won't, we just don't know. But anyway, it is definitely worth a read. I was so excited to read it, and it lived up to my expectations, which, you know, is always good. The next book that I read was a short novella called Gentleman's Guide to Getting Lucky. So this little novella is basically a companion to Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, which y'all know I love. Hopefully you know that I love it. I don't know. I haven't talked about it a lot on here, I don't think, but yeah, I read it this past year and I loved it, so, you know. Anyway, it is basically about, well, I don't want to spoil it too much because you can kind of tell what it's about from the title, and the book in general is kind of a spoiler for Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, so I'm not going to tell you anything further about Gentleman's Guide to Getting Lucky. I'm just going to tell you what I thought about it. So anyway, it was adorable. It was also hilarious. It was just, I know people are calling it fan service, but it was fan service in the best possible way. How can you complain when it's so good? So it was definitely lit, and I really enjoyed it. Next, I read Orpheus Girl, which is also a pretty short book. I don't know if I would call it a novella, but I think it was under 200 pages, so maybe I could call it a novella. Orpheus Girl is an Orpheus and Eurydice retelling featuring 2 girls and conversion therapy. It was not an easy read. I wasn't triggered or anything, but they went through some shit. Shit's intense. So definitely be wary if you are triggered by things about conversion therapy. So yeah, this book is really intense, but it is also really, really well written and really well handled. It's fantastic. Besides conversion therapy, there are some other triggers that may be potentially triggering, and I'm going to leave those in the description, so people who don't want to know the triggers don't have to listen to them, but people who do want to know the triggers have access to them. I can't remember whose video I saw that did this, but it was a fantastic idea. I was like, oh my god, that fixes everything. So yeah, triggers for Orpheus Girl will be in the description below. Next, I read The Witch Boy, which is a middle grade graphic novel. It's about this world where only girls are witches and boys are shapeshifters. So, it's very, like, binary in that sense. And this boy, like, that's what he's like, his age, I don't think is ever explicitly mentioned, but I think he's like 12 or 13. And he hasn't shifted yet. So everybody's like, when are you gonna shift? Why aren't you shifting? Meanwhile, he's like really interested in being a witch. Like he like kind of spies on the girls' lessons and like writes some notes down so he can practice being a witch like by himself. So he like really wants to be a witch. And so, but everybody's like, no, you can't be a witch because you're a boy. So anyway, it's basically about that. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. I think there's more. So I can't wait to read those. Next, for the Queer Lit Readathon, I read Genderqueer, which is a graphic novel memoir about, I can't remember her name. That is the pronouns that A uses. A uses the Spivak pronouns. A, airs, himself, I think. I'm a bad non-binary person, apparently, because I don't remember how you pronounce those. But they're like they, but cut off the TH. So anyway, it's about a graphic novel about an ace MB person, which I really connected to, because obviously I'm ace, also MB, so it was really good. So I feel like I can kind of do a comparison to Fun Home with it, because even though Fun Home is about like her dad's death and stuff like that, and how she came to terms with being a lesbian and stuff like that, and the other one, like the Genderqueer, is not about any death in the family. It's just about the author's life. But I feel like a comparison can be made, because I feel like I felt the way my lesbian roommate felt when she read Fun Home when I read Genderqueer. So, you know, there's that. I think it's really good. And then finally I read Like a Love Story. Now this was the book that took me like forever to read, because after I read all of those books, I tried to read this book, didn't finish it in time for the Queer Lit Readathon, but I started it and then I continued it. I just did a really bad job at continuing it, because it took me like until like, I feel like it was like the 19th or the 20th, something like that, when I finally finished it. And then after I finished it, I didn't have any motivation to read for the rest of the year. It was crazy. But anyway, Like a Love Story is historical fiction. It is set in the 80s in America during the AIDS crisis. So it has three perspectives. There's Riza, there's Judy, and there's Art. I'm going with their names because I tried to explain it without their names and it just didn't make any sense. So Riza is an Iranian, like, immigrant. He's coming over from the Iranian Revolution during the time, because it's set during the 80s. And I think that's when the Iranian Revolution was. I don't know. But I think it is. He's basically, yeah, he's escaping the Iranian Revolution. And he moves to America with his family. And he lives with, like, a nice, because his mother marries, like, a really rich Iranian person in America. And so he has, like, a nice life, kind of, well, when he gets there. And then, but he's terrified of AIDS, and he is terrified of coming out as gay because he doesn't want to, like, ruin his relationship with his family. So there's that. And then there's Art, who is the son of, like, a stockbroker type person, And he is openly gay, and he volunteers with ACT UP as much as he can, and he really doesn't like his parents' money. Like, obviously he uses it, but like, he's not a fan of like rich people, and he is not like your stereotypical rich person. And then there's Judy, whose uncle has AIDS, and Art and Judy are best friends. And Art is really close to Judy's uncle, Stephen, I believe is his name. And Stephen is like a father to Art, essentially. And yeah, it's really cool. The basic plot is that Judy has feelings for Riza, Riza has feelings for Art, and Art has feelings for Riza, but Riza doesn't want to admit that he has feelings for Art. So, like, that's the conflict. So there you go. So anyway, highly recommend this book. It's definitely on my top 10 of 2019 as well. So you should check it out. And those are all of the books that I read in December. I know this wrap up was a little rambly, and I apologize for that, but what did you expect? This is a video by me. It's gonna be rambly. I actually want to announce something that I'm going to be doing when I finish Call Down the Hawk, and that is a ramble reviews. So basically, I'm going to try and do a review of a book, but I know I'm going to be rambly about it, so I'm already just going to call them ramble reviews. Hopefully, it'll be a good time. I'm not going to do them for every book that I read, but I am going to do them for the books that are like either really popular, that I really like, that I want people to read more of, or just if I'm feeling it, I'll do a ramble review for it. So look forward to those. Don't know when I'm going to finish Call Down the Hawk, so you'll have to wait a hot second. But yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Anyway, that's all I have. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.